So, Mark, did you see Minnie Mouse out on the strip once again smoking a cigarette? We've seen this before. I guess he's getting tired of all the pictures and videos because he finally took it to another level.
I think it's just crazy that it's the same guy. I wouldn't think that years later, he'd still be out there hustling, grinding, earning that buck. And we're going to talk about how many bucks that is later, which is kind of crazy or lies. But yeah, he was doing the international sign for giving the bird.
They pay you more to dress up as Minnie Mouse than, say, the Transformers or something. I don't know. It's a bonus.
Don't you think people would pay more to take the picture with him with his head up and smoking? I would.
Yes, exactly. That's all part of the brand. So let's start the show with a sweet treat. Here is February's cronut. Now that I'm a cronut aficionado and I've fallen in love with them, strawberry elderflower jam, mascarpone ganache, topped with pink fondant and red hearts. Mark, this I know how good these things are, and it looks delicious.
That was a lot of words for a donut.
But look at it. It's so pretty. And it was funny. Chris Holmes got his first cronut the other day, and he posted a picture of the box. And on the box, they have instructions for you have to eat it within like 6 to 8 hours and to make sure to cut it with the serrated knife. If you cut it with a butter knife, all the beautiful cream is going to smush out.
Why don't you can't just like bite into it?
Yeah, you can. But if you want to cut it and share, I mean, these are $11 each, Mark. You got to share.
Yeah, you buried the lead there because I remember when you're telling your story about how you had money left to burn and you went and got a couple cronuts and some coffees and it was like $100. So I don't know. They look beautiful. I'm sure they taste great. $11. That is pretty steep. I guess you do have to cut it up, split it among 4 people to be able to afford it.
It's so good, though. It's so good. But let's talk Super Bowl. Mattress Mack, he's back in the news. He is that furniture store owner from Houston, and he makes big bets every year. And then if people buy mattresses from him, if his bet wins, then they get free mattresses. This year, it was interesting. I saw this article in the Review Journal. Brent Musburger bought a mattress from him. But the big story is Mack made a $2 million wager to win $4 million on the Patriots or on the AFC winner. And that was at Caesars. And I think that's the biggest bet on the Super Bowl that we know of.
Maybe he should have waited a bit to make the bets because it feels like he would have got better odds in the game since Seattle is favored and he could have got better on that money. If he's doing money line, he could have got a better odds on that $2 million. And this feels like usually he does it earlier in the year where the payoff's a bit better. Like Houston, I remember we talked about years ago where he bet it at the beginning of the season and you're getting longer odds. So it makes more sense, but dumping $2 million in to get $4 million, are you making that much money off of mattresses? 1, and 2, does Brent Musburger need $12,000 for free?
Brent Musburger, he's 86 and he said he hadn't had a new mattress for 40 years. I don't know what the hell is going on there. That made me laugh. I'm like, what's going on?
He lives in hotels most of the time. He doesn't need one.
So you're basically saying Mattress Mack called this in.
Either way, it's going to cost some money because $2 million coming up front. If they don't win, you made the money off the mattress, but did you clear more than $2 million? It just, the math isn't mathing for me of this being a net positive for him either way, where when you're betting at long odds, I could see how that is getting covered.
I think at this point, he's just addicted to the media coverage. So he needs to get himself out there. And so everybody will talk about it, but it is a ton of free advertising.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe it's just the fun of it and he doesn't care anymore. And it's not about breaking even or doing the right thing for the business so much as what, like you said, publicity and just the fun of maybe giving people free furniture and making the big bets. I'm sure there's still some excitement to the game when you have that bet riding, even if you know it's not going in your pocket.
Well, with the Super Bowl coming up in San Francisco or Santa Clara, when will the Super Bowl come back to Las Vegas? That's what everybody's wondering. And I think the answer is 2029. Late last year, there was reports that the NFL was exclusively negotiating with Las Vegas for the 2029 Super Bowl. As a reminder, in 27, it'll be in Los Angeles. In 28, it'll be in Atlanta, Georgia. And most likely, Las Vegas will get it every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think it'll be in there. The other one that always gets it is New Orleans. So I think it'll be in the rotation with those ones, and we'll kind of see it. And I feel like that would have been 2029 would have been kind of the New Orleans turn. And then they always throw in, if somebody opens a new stadium, they throw it in there. So that's cool. It's a perfect location for it. Makes a lot of sense. So I think it should be in there.
Last chance to get all access on our Patreon for $5 a month. We implemented new tiers. We added more stuff. We have tons of new members, and you can join to patreon.com/MTM Vegas. Join by February 8th. For $5 a month, you get access to all of our stuff. Go check it out there. And thanks to everybody who supports us over on Patreon.
Price for life, too.
So let's move downtown for a second and the Neon Museum, the museum we'd love to talk about a lot, a hidden gem you guys should all visit. But they announced that on April 24th will be the unveiling of the Siegfried and Roy statue from Mirage into their collection. I guess they're going to have a media event. I saw Vital Vegas share his invite. That's how I know about it. I didn't see any other announcements, but there you go. They're going to live at the Neon Museum, a great place for them.
You didn't get an invite?
I did not get an invite, but I can't wait to see these sitting on top of that parking garage.
No, this is cool. It'll be fun. Of course, Siegfried and Roy are synonymous with Vegas, so it's cool to see them have a piece of in the Neon Museum. And this kind of is an expansion out a bit, right? Are we going to see more of this, you think?
Yeah, they've gone into like more of those exhibits, like that Tropicana exhibit with the history where I famously was featured telling my story about the pool area there. Yeah, so they've tried to do more of this stuff, and maybe, yeah, this is the future. As we know, they want to move into that parking garage sometime and get more space and be in a more centralized, better location. We talked about Cashman Field on the last show, so maybe that area is looking up.
I mean, it would stink to move in or build out all these places and then lose the Neon Museum right there. But when is this parking garage thing going to go in? When are we doing this?
We have no update. We have no update. They had a dream to put Neon on a parking garage, and hopefully they will get that done. But staying downtown, Fremont Street Experience, you know, pedestrians love to like run across, cars love to almost hit people. And the city is going to put in this sort of AI system with 16 automated smart signals that detect pedestrians and adjust traffic flow in real time. They've done a similar thing on Eastern here in the city where the cameras adjust the lights. And what used to be a 15-minute drive up Eastern all the way into Anthem turned into a 5-minute drive. It's pretty miraculous how it works. So maybe this will be a great thing for pedestrians, because there's been tons of times I'm just standing there as a pedestrian. There's no cars and, you know, you just want to go.
Yeah, I think that this makes a lot of sense, and hopefully it improves the experience for drivers and for pedestrians walking through. I just wonder, do you think it would be horrible sacrilege to redirect so it's just all one open walking area? There's no streets to cross. I know that would be a huge pain, but do you think they should have done that a while ago?
I think they closed off several streets, right? But it's just a matter of unique cars being able to go north, south. Las Vegas Boulevard, obviously important. It's at the end of Fremont Street. I'm assuming that this is going to happen. Casino Center is the real big one. That's the one that's right in the middle. You could argue, I mean, it's never that busy there, but it is sort of a key thing if you're driving to get north or south. You could use Main Street, though. I could see your point.
Yeah, I think that's the one that kind of annoys me when you're walking through the middle of it and then you got to stop and you just want to kind of be in it and absorb the Fremont Street experience. And it's kind of annoying that you have to stop there. And it just seems like an easy fix. I know you can't do anything to Las Vegas Boulevard, but you would think they could shut that one down, redirect traffic a little bit there, or at least could have back in the day. And it would have just added to everything that Fremont offers.
Well, Fremont's about to offer something else because the Fremont Street Experience just got a big hire, a big catch, Cliff Atkinson. And if you recognize that name, we've talked about him before. He's the guy who was in charge of Fontainebleau before they opened. He kind of did that, and then he was let go from there, went to Virgin, was doing good things over there, it seemed like. And we talked about his interview with Dana over at Vegas Revealed, and then like a couple days later, he got fired or he left suddenly. Now he's landing at the Fremont Street Experience. Before those jobs, he was at MGM, long time Las Vegas, and very well liked in the community. Fremont Street Experience said Cliff is a dynamic and respected leader whose expertise in hospitality, guest experience, and large-scale operation strategy will be instrumental as Fremont Street Experience continues to grow and evolve.
Yeah, I don't know that Fontainebleau really went off great in the beginning. It did seem like people were coming in bunches, and he did get that off the ground, so you got to give him kudos for that, and you don't know how much he was handcuffed there. It did seem like the turnaround at Virgin was happening, and that was nice to see some new ideas and just kind of crazy timing how he did that interview that we discussed and was gone like a day later. So I know a lot of people are excited for this, so maybe it will end up working out. And Fremont Street Experience is a great growing thing, and I'd love to see somebody kind of take reins of it and make it even better.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because Fremont Street Experience brings together all the members, which are the casinos on Fremont Street. And I think it's a very important job. And we talk a lot about those downtown casinos because we think that they're probably the best at marketing. We talk about Plaza and Jonathan Jostles, Derek Stevens, and we talk about Tim Lager over at Four Queens and Binions. I mean, and even casino manager Adam over at El Cortez, who's become huge on social media. And so it's downtown is killing it, and having a leader who kind of understands that part of the business, but then can put it all together into a marketing message, probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's the key point right there is that he's been on their side of things. So he kind of knows what they need, what they want. He knows how to talk to them. He knows what works, what doesn't work. And I think that will all kind of work together to grow the Fremont Street experience. And maybe we'll have more gorillas. Is that number one on your list?
What about showgirls? This is brings me to Jacob's video where he went out to the street, he was talking to showgirls, and he was asking them, what's the average price that somebody gives you, when you take a picture with them? And the answer, $60 per person per photo. So they're saying there's two showgirls that the average person gives them $120 between the two of them. My favorite thing about this, Vegas Thoughts tweeted this. He says, there are white lies, there are lies, and then there are Vegas street performer lies.
Yeah, and they're even like, oh, sometimes we get $100 bill for each person for taking a picture and posing. And we talked about this several months ago, how this is all, they all work together and they all get dressed in the same spot and they rent the costumes or whatever. They kick back to whoever owns it. And this is a big racket. This isn't just some individual getting dressed at home, at least not most of them, and buying this costume and all this stuff. This is like a business and they're out there and yeah, just straight up lies.
But, the one girl, she's playing the game well, and Jacob does a good job of sort of confronting them. He gives them $5 for the interview. I had thought he probably had set up a price ahead of time before he starts talking to them, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So he gives them $5, says, that's the amount of time I took of yours. Was that fair? I don't know. But I think that this is incredible because this is the thing that most people come to Vegas and they don't know what to do. They want to take a fun photo. It used to be like $20, and even that was probably a lot, but $20, you're like, okay, it still is. Just a reminder, they're not allowed to charge you. These are tips. So you should absolutely tip them. Don't go take a free photo, but they're not allowed to tell you have to pay them $60.
Yeah, I think I ended up paying $20 per person when we did the one in front of Circa. And I thought, dumb of me, I thought Circa had them there and they did not, because they were standing right by the entrance. I figured it was kind of, you used to see similar type of thing outside of Mermaids. So I figured that was the tie-in and they're having some fun. They're like, oh no, it's $20 per person. And I was just like, okay. And I think that's how they get you, because you just want to get out of it. It's uncomfortable. So you fork over the money, whatever they say. Make sure you know the price before you get involved. I wouldn't even take the pictures anymore. After I know that they do this all as a business together, they ride together, they get dropped off at like their corners.
I'll tell you that $20 per person, inflation's hit pretty hard in the last few days. In your defense, those showgirls, I believe, had like the colors of Circa on, and it was the opening of Circa. It wasn't just any old day. But Mark, you do know there is one street performer worth at least $60 every single time.
Only if he's smoking with his head off.
No, the Fremont Gorilla. Come on. Our goal by the end of 2026 is to reach 100,000 subscribers. It is lofty, but help us out. Every week, tens of thousands of you who are watching these videos, but you're not subscribed. It's free to do. Just hit the bell icon, the notifications. We're going to have fun giveaways all year as we march towards 100K. Help us get there.
Yeah, get your friends, your family, everybody you know, sign up.
And don't forget, you can listen to this as a podcast too. But let's talk 5 things. I saw this from Vital Vegas and it made me laugh. Do these 5 Las Vegas things with your fiance or boyfriend/girlfriend. If they don't love every one of them, dump that person immediately. Tournament of Kings, Neon Museum, Fremont Street, Craps, and Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, I don't know anything that last one. I don't think will fly with a lot of people, but
that's the final mission. That's the final test.
Yeah, I would say like Area 15. I think that's fun. There's a lot of stuff to do, and depending on what you want to get out of it, you have a ton of options. I think that's a perfect date night. I love walking the strip with my wife back in the day and just checking out the different casinos. So I think that's something everybody should do. A fancy dinner, whatever type of food you want, you can find that in Vegas somewhere. So I mean, the list is endless.
It's just funny because we've all seen that guy in Vegas. It's usually a guy. I guess it could be a woman, but it's usually a guy in Vegas with their spouse or significant other that's just miserable because the guy is just on a different level in a different place and the other person isn't having it. And you see this all the time. And so, yeah, I don't know. But let us know what are your 5, what are the things that when you came to Vegas with somebody else that you knew they have to like in order to be a keeper, I guess, right?
Mine was always my wife coming down at like 6 a.m. in her pajamas while I was sitting at the blackjack table to yell at me.
You never lived till you watched Mark's wife roll her eyes at him. So some sad news. It looks like Dream Hotel is not going to actually happen, or at least not in its current form. Big shock there. As a reminder, construction's been paused for years, and we talked about how they hadn't paid millions of dollars to contractors, and then the owners still said recently, a couple of months ago, that he still wanted to build it. But there is a listing now on Collier's for the property. There is no price listed, so we don't know how much they're trying to sell it for. They do say that they spent nearly $20 million already on infrastructure, 90 million invested total for this project. I was doing some AI stuff based on other sales, kind of looking at stuff, would say it's probably worth about $50 million is what our guess is, but we don't know what the sale price is. But yeah, this isn't going to happen unless somebody else buys it and takes it over.
I mean, they could get a pretty good deal if they've already done the foundation and sunk some money in the cost. They've gotten things approved. So you can kind of roll with that and put your own spin on it, your own design to it. I could see somebody scooping this up, and maybe they'll wait a couple years, hope that the price gets pressured even further down, and scoop up a really good deal.
Yeah, we talked about how they were trying to get extensions for their approvals and stuff, and that's part of this listing too. So clearly that makes it easier if you wanted to take it over. We talk about this project and people make fun of it. This was actually a cool project, a boutique hotel casino, purpose-built on the south end, very close to the airport, but it was going to have a small casino, really nice looking rooms, about 500 rooms, I think, all together. I was really excited about this. In these uncertain times, something of that scale is probably our best bet.
Yeah, and it's by the Pinball Hall of Fame. Can't beat that.
No, you can't. But we do have to talk about this insane lawsuit for Toca Madera. That is the restaurant that's in Aria, and it's also on In Kind, which actually comes into this whole lawsuit, which is interesting. And there's a lot of allegations made in this lawsuit from the ownership group to the operators, saying that one example would be during Super Bowl that they sold all these event tickets allegedly and then took the money from that and then ended up comping things. They took millions of dollars from In Kind up front, and then when people would use In Kind, they just comped those meals. They alleged that they were financing OnlyFans models, this crazy lifestyle, spending millions of dollars. They're suing them under the RICO Act, which is interesting too. This is a crazy thing. I mean, these allegations, and this is just a restaurant. This feels like it's a bigger thing, but yeah, I guess restaurants, today's restaurant is yesterday's casino.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to skim, you got to skim a little bit. You can't take 700 out of what was it, like 1.2, 1.3 for the Super Bowl. That's a big chunk that's going to be noticed. If you took like 50,000, maybe it goes unseen. But yeah, flying OnlyFans models in, that's just somebody trying to live above their means and have that lifestyle without having it. I thought it was bizarre that In Kind is paying up front. Where's In Kind getting all this money that they're like, here's $3 million. You don't know where people are going to use their In Kind. We've talked about it in the past. You get it in your account and then you can go to several restaurants. So how do they know that they're ever going to get to that level of redemptions?
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't know what the contract is. I'm guessing In Kind pays them a certain amount of money up front to sign up. And then obviously as people use the credit, it's sort of like on their balance sheet already. I didn't know that that's how that worked. As a reminder, if you want In Kind, there's tons of restaurants. Use my referral down below. You get 25 off 50 on your first meal. It is a great service, and there's tons of restaurants all around town, a lot on the strip. But yeah, 1.3 million for the Super Bowl, Mark? That's crazy that they're taking in that kind of money.
I know, we need to open up a restaurant and forget doing YouTube. But no, just for a party, and that just shows how much people are willing to spend, these corporations, when they come into town. And that's why prices stay high, because they'll find somebody to pay for it. And that's when the Super Bowl wasn't there. And we talked in the Sahara video how they said the best weekend ever was Super Bowl when Super Bowl was in Vegas. And I could only imagine what places were charging for a party during that time.
Yeah, it was a boom. I mean, we talk about 2029. This is big business for the city, and LVCVA really wants this. But yeah, you can see with those numbers how big it is for even the smaller operators. But yeah, this is like an episode of American Greed, allegedly. Everything in this lawsuit, it just reads just like that. Big, flying people across the world, big houses, big cars, all of that sort of stuff. And then saying that this was taken out of the business. So we will see how that all happens. That's not even the craziest story that happened in Las Vegas this week, but we can't talk about that one. But let us know what you guys think about anything we did talk about today. Fremont Street Experience, new leadership over there. Siegfried and Roy going to the Neon Museum. Street performers, how much do you pay them? Minnie Mouse. Let us know in the comments. We do 3 shows a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Ooh, we should do like an undercover video where we go around and take pictures and try to give them $10 and see what happens.
I don't want to get beat up by the monks. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.